Hey gorgeous, this is episode number 150. Today's guests are Rob and Kennedy, tuning in from England.
Hi, this is Rob and Kennedy.
Hello.
You are listening to the Heart Sells podcast with Christine Schlonski. Enjoy.
Enjoy.
I'm super excited to not just present you one guest today, but two, Rob and Kennedy. And when you would see them, you would not think that they are entrepreneurs. They're the most unlikely entrepreneurs you ever meet. With their hairstyles, they look like a comic book character, and they have backgrounds in psychology, hypnosis, and show business. So it's hard to believe they are serial entrepreneurs with an uncanny knack for building businesses with riotous email marketing. I'm very happy to welcome them on the show today. You will learn a lot about email marketing, about how you can actually tweak your emails for better results, for better opening rates, to have a bigger impact and to serve your clients better. So let's dive in. Well, I am so excited to have red hair Rob and platinum blonde Kennedy on the show today. Welcome.
Hello. It's sunny. Nice to be here. Nice to be in here. It's dark.
Yeah. It's wonderful to have you. And it's the first time I have two guests at once. So
Wow.
Give us a little bit of a background, like what makes you so inseparable?
We're like an old married couple, really, aren't we?
Yeah, we
We've been
are,
pals
yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah, we've been friends for a long. We're like an old married couple. We hang out a lot, but never have sex.
That's
Good
right.
to know.
So we've been too much information. We've been friends for a really long time, and we both come from an entertainment background. So we have a lot in common in terms of our background. I'm a hypnotist. Kennedy's a mind reader, and for the past 17 years, we've been traveling around the world performing our individual shows. So totally separately, not together. Individual shows, having a blast and building businesses off the back of that. And then eventually, recently, we came together as business partners to form Responsory.
That sounds really fun. And, I had the chance to talk to you a little bit more. And it's really nice, the energy, the fun, the entertainment piece that comes when people engage with you guys. Right. And you created a very interesting software. So can we talk about this a little bit? Because I think it's important to have this conversation to make the lives of the listeners a little bit easier when it comes to targeting their ideal audience, their clients, to make sure that they do it in a right way that is still heart-centered and true to their values, but they don't miss out so often when they speak to people in just one way.
I think if you get all of that stuff wrong, you actually don't fulfill on either of those things anyway. So if you it's about the commercial element, but it's actually about having the right conversations with people so you meet them where they're at. We all know that we should be like building our online audiences. We know that we should be building a great following on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or whatever the heck it is that your platform is. But I think most of us realize now as well that we have to move people and transition people from that social media channel onto some kind of email list so that we have the data that we own rather than having it on somebody else's sort of platform. Because of course, if Facebook or Twitter or whatever change the way they work someday, then we might not have a business anymore if all of our customer data is in there. So we know that we've got to get them on our email list so we can build value for them going forward. The challenge with that is that whatever kind of business you're in, whatever kind of help you provide people with or service you provide them with, the people who we engage with or who are on our list are at different phases of their life. They're looking for different solutions to different problems. They all have different problems and they need your help and they need different types of help in different ways. And if we are just communicating with each of those people the same way, we're actually not serving any of them completely. We're not able to say to them, I'm going to meet you where you are. I'm going to see where you are right now and help you move to that next step. Because if you try and do that with everybody, you're always talking down to one person who's already ahead of that point in the process. And you're also totally bamboozling somebody else because they're not at that phase yet. We'll be bamboozling the people who are not yet at that phase in their journey. So they don't understand some of those things because they're earlier in their journey. So one of the things we've got to do is meet people where they are so that we can help them go to where they need to be. Because if we're not doing that, we're actually not helping anybody and we certainly can't be helping grow our business either. So actually nobody wins in that situation. And that's the whole reason that Rob and I became obsessed with email marketing. We became obsessed with it because we know that's the most direct way to have a personalized communication with somebody in a way that's what's technically called segmented, so that each of the people is getting a personalized communication. And that's why we became obsessed with email marketing. And that's where Response Suite was really born, in order to help people power that email marketing. And we'll talk about that maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, I love that. So what I see a lot of people do, and I do that as well, we put out stuff on Facebook, we post on Instagram, we're trying to get people to our list. But then usually if you are a solopreneur or a small company, it's really difficult to find the time and also to have the mindset for it to then target people in different groups, to even know like what is the need. So, and I think what's really brilliant, what you guys do with your software as well, that you can have actually questionnaires, like where come people in? How can you kind of segment them so that well, this is, for example, a beginner, right? If we just talk about hard sells, so I would know, well, this is like somebody who's just starting a business, right? So they have not yet sold anything. They're just on their journey. And this is somebody that's a little bit more seasoned. They might be into business for a year, but they're not getting their results because they don't sell enough. Yeah. And then there's somebody who just plateaued, got the 6-figure mark, but just doesn't get any further because there's something in their mindset holding them back from making more sales. So all these people have different needs, right?
Yeah. And with everything you sell, it's really, really easy to say, what pieces of information do I really need to make this process easier, not just for me, but nicer for them? Yeah. And so we call them the key questions. So for example, let's imagine somebody was in the fitness industry, just because it's an easy example for us all to understand.
Especially me.
Exactly. If you ask somebody, what is your big fitness goal right now? They might come into your business because you have a gym facility or you teach them online or something, you've got an online program. They come into your business and they're now on your list. When you email them, you just ask them a simple question with a survey like, what's your big fitness goal right now? And some people might be, well, I want to lose half my body fat. Other people might say, well, I want to be able to become a bodybuilder. Other people might say, well, I want to regenerate after some sort of injury. Other people might be looking to train for a marathon. And what you've got there is 4, and we're not fitness experts by any means, but you've got 4 completely different types of people looking for completely different things who need, it's not just about selling to them, they actually need different information and different help in different ways. And so it doesn't really matter who you sell to or what you sell. In this day and age, nobody is selling to one type of person. Even if you say, well, my business only serves single mothers in their 30s who've recently had a baby. That sounds like a really specific market, but actually, some of those people will be very affluent. Some of them will not have as much money. Some of them will want to go back to work. Some of them would. And suddenly you realize that actually we are all so very different in a modern world. And we have to talk to people that way.
So all we do is we put together a really simple survey. When someone joins your mailing list, rather than trying to ascend them, that's what's called in email marketing, is moving them from getting on your list by opting in for a free gift of some description, and then trying to now hammer them over the head with, please buy this thing, please buy this thing. Instead of doing that, why don't we do something different, which is actually take the time to get an understanding of each of those people through sending them a quick questionnaire or survey. And your questionnaire or survey, literally, as Rob said, has to just ask those key questions. And that boils down to, how can I help you the most? And that's to do with the format they want to learn in. It could be the price point. It could be the actual problem or challenge they're currently facing. Once you've done that, if you connect your survey to your email marketing platform, your MailChimp or your ActiveCampaign or your Aweber or whatever the heck you're using, Infusionsoft, whatever, if you connect it, what it means is with every little choice that someone makes in that survey, you can now segment them in your email marketing system and now automatically send them the most appropriate help. What's great is that happens reliably every single time that somebody joins your list, which means every single individual person gets the right help and they get it without you having to do anything. So it's reliable, which means nobody falls through the cracks because it's happening on autopilot. It also means that it's happening while you're asleep. It's happening while you're on holiday or vacation. It's happening whether you're having a great, effervescent, excitable day or you're having a bit of a crappy day. It really doesn't matter how you're feeling because it's always happening and those people are getting served. You're educating them, and also for your business and commercially, you're also moving them towards the sale of the right kind of product, reducing the resistance against that sale. What's nice about it? We talk often about consultative selling. I know it's something we've talked about. And that is when you're sitting down with somebody, if you've got a high-priced product, you're sitting with them and you ask them questions about their pain points. What's your challenge right now? What's that worth to you? Ooh, isn't that really difficult? And you build up the pain. So you're having that consultative sell. The challenge with consultative selling is if you don't have a premium priced product, making the economics of sitting down and having that conversation work when you have a lower priced product is much more difficult. If you're selling something for less than a couple of thousand US dollars or pounds, then that's probably not going to happen. Whereas you can do this at scale, like that consultative sell, by putting a quiz, questionnaire, or survey in there, which asks those same questions in a much more succinct way with just two or three questions. We're not talking about 40 or 50 questions here. 2 or 3 questions to find out where the person's at and what their pain points are, and then offer them the perfect solution from the perfect angle in order to solve their problem. So it's imagine doing the consultative sell, but without actually having to do that sales conversation, which is good for 2 things. One, it's good for scale. And secondly, it's good if you're like, you know what, sitting down doing that sales piece face to face is still a little bit intimidating to me, or still a lot a bit intimidating to me, then you can do it in a different way with that same outcome.
Yeah, I love that. And I think it's so important. So how can somebody, let's say a solopreneur, a coach, or a healer, how can they make their system more effective and really target the right people?
Okay, before we go into that, I want to tell you, in the next episode, we're going to talk to you about how to use this system in order to allow people to come back and re-engage in your services and actually increase the value of each one of those customers using a similar sort of system, but in a really simple way. So we're going to talk about that in the next episode, so that every person who comes into your business and engages with you, you're going to be able to offer them more of your services, but without having to be salesy. So we are going to talk about that in the next episode. But before that, Rob.
Yeah, so one of the big things that people do when they're selling stuff online is that they'll write sort of a chain of email sequences that go out to sell something they've got. So for example, you might join my list today. Let's imagine I sell DIY products. Somebody joins my list today, and now you're on my list. That's good because you've opted in for this free white paper or report or webinar or something. And now I'm going to put you through an automated sequence of emails. This is like the old way of doing it, the way that most people do. They go through a sequence of emails where maybe I sell you a set of shed plans to help you build a shed in the garden. And that's fine for anyone who might be interested in that. But of course, it's quite an obscure thing within everything there is in DIY. I'm taking quite a punt at thinking that might be the thing that you want. So for most people who come through any business, the first thing you offer them isn't going to be the thing that they're going to want to buy right there and then that's going to solve their problem. So at the end of that, maybe there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 100 emails, who knows. At the end of that sequence, let's say it's 3, just to be conservative. At the end of that sequence, they're now going to start your next sequence, and that might be about something to do with gardening. Okay, great. So now they're going to go through the gardening set of follow-ups, and that might be interesting, but some people live in an apartment or don't like gardening or have a gardener, and so they get to the end of that sequence of 3 emails, and suddenly, that's not of interest to them either. And now you put them through another sequence, which is all about, I don't know, kitchen fitting, and they get to the end of that, and that's not interesting either. And you've got this sort of chain of emails. And what it means is that if the thing that your person wants to buy is in the 4th sequence or the 5th sequence or the 10th sequence, they've got loads of emails that they need to go through before they're ever going to hear anything remotely relevant to them. And so what that means is that they're very likely to either A, unsubscribe, which is pretty bad, or B, even worse than unsubscribe, is just unengage, just stop paying attention. And that's worse than unsubscribing, because every time somebody receives an email and they don't open it, Gmail, Yahoo, Outlook, all those providers are reporting back to the email police, whoever they are, and making sure that your emails are less likely to get delivered to anyone in future. So they're going to either unsubscribe or, even worse, disengage. And so now what that means is we want to make one simple shift. And that is, rather than just sending out a bunch of broadcasts or sending out a bunch of sequences in an order that you sort of arbitrarily picked, we now want to have all of that happen at the same time. It's the thing we call vertical email marketing. It's basically, rather than having all those emails going out, a batch of 3 about one thing, then a batch of 3 about another thing, then a batch of 3 about another thing, is you line them up so that they go out at the same time, but to the people it's relevant for. So if somebody joins your list today and they take your little survey where you say, I want to find out how I can help you. The people who say they're really interested in building a shed, the first thing they see is the shed plan sequence. Whereas people who say, actually, I'm really interested in a loft conversion, the first thing they get is a thing to help them convert their loft to their attic.
Yeah.
And so now it's totally relevant.
Absolutely. So case in point, for example, if somebody comes into our world and we talk about email marketing because Response Suite as a survey platform helps people improve the results of their email marketing. So how would we apply it in that case? Just to give another example. So you come in and our question might be literally as bland as, are you looking for a way of improving your email marketing? And if that's the case, we'll take them to a page and put them to a sequence to tell them about Response Suite and send them over to responsesuite.com where we show them how to do all that stuff. Whereas if they're just getting on their journey and they want some ideas and some tools and some techniques for increasing their email marketing results, depending on where they are on their journey, we might send them a link to go and subscribe to our podcast, The Email Marketing Show. Whereas if it was more like a course they wanted to study, we might show them one of our courses. So it's about meeting the person exactly where they are instantly rather than having to go through that chain of emails.
Yeah, totally get that. So how can a solopreneur target better? I mean, we understood that the software is helping, but let's say I'm somebody that puts like a blog post on Facebook and then I send it out as a newsletter and I have it on my page as a blog post page. How can I make sure that I get, more people to read it, or I can target better and not really waste my time with what I think is needed at the moment?
There's a few things to consider. The first one to think about with your email stuff is, how did the person get on your list and what do you absolutely know about them? Never mind guessing, because for example, if you join our list about email marketing ideas, I don't really know if I give you we don't have this, but if we had a download which was 500 amazing subject lines and you opt in for that, I don't know a great deal about you.
You could be an e-com business or an info product business or a service provider. It could be anything.
You could be anything. You could have any kind of problem. You could have a problem with your engagement. You could have a problem with making sales. You have a problem with growing your list. I really don't know anything about you. So the big thing to realize is what you absolutely know and what you are sort of educated guessing about. And then based on that, you're now going to start segmenting people up into, what is this about? The other thing to think about is asking people what they want to know about. So you can do that. Yes, we use surveys. Of course we use surveys because that's what we do. But also you've got to use variety in there as well. So ask people in an email to reply to you and tell you what is it you're interested in, and then tag them in your system. We're always amazed by how few people have a really good set of tags and segments in their email marketing. Now that sounds really advanced. Actually, it's just some pretend advanced people just giving it some fancy names. All it is putting a little note next to someone's email address saying this person always engages with this kind of content. They're really interested in this type of stuff. So every time I send a link out to something, a blog post or a social post by email, when someone clicks on that link, I'm also going to tag them with other attributes. So if I know that the thing I'm sending them a link to is a beginner level piece, so I'm going to tag them with beginner. I'm also going to tag them with what the interest of that thing is about. So is it about subject lines? And if it is, then we'll tag them with their interest in subject lines. If it's a video that I'm sending them a link to, I'm also going to tag them the fact that they consumed video type media. So now in the future, if I have a video about subject lines for beginners, that person's definitely going to get a few more emails about that because I know it's really going to help them. Whereas if I've got a really long written blog post about advanced email segmentation and disengagement campaigns, I might mention it to that person, but I'm not going to put them through a complete campaign driving them towards that thing. And that's just in terms of consuming your content. And of course, you can easily see how that transplants into when you promote products, make offers, offer your services, and do any kind of promotions for other people's stuff, affiliate products, and the likes. So it sounds like it could be complex, but actually, if you just break it down to making notes on stuff, that's what this comes down to.
Okay, totally get that. Yeah, to finish off, what advice could you give somebody, where to start with either no budget or low budget?
So the first thing really, I suppose, is to look for quick wins. If you've got anything where where money is a problem, it's to look for quick wins and work out what else can I do to leverage what I've already got. So, for example, I think there's a lot of people, because paid traffic is such a big thing right now, everybody's so excited about running Facebook ads or Google ads even, and all the different ads platforms there are. And everybody is driving that and you can get clicks for a cent a click, and you can do all of this stuff.
Imagine.
All driving it down. And the truth is there's always going to be something you're going to lose there, like the quality of the traffic or something along those lines. So for me, I think if budget is a problem, then you can start to ignore the paid ads people for a little while, because the truth is there's no cheap way to start running ads and get a really good result of it. It's not really possible. You need to have a certain amount of budget, a certain amount of money to lose. And the truth is the quicker you can lose that money, the better, because that gets you out of the learning phase. But if you can't afford to lose a load of money really quickly and know that that's a positive thing, then don't run paid ads and just look to leverage other traffic sources. So, for example, we've always relied on paid ads for quite a long time, but actually now we're much more exploring content marketing and be able to just put stuff out there that really speaks and resonates with people, as well as getting affiliates to promote your stuff and build your audience that way. That way you're now only going to pay them if they make a sale of the thing.
And a really good thing when you're doing all of that, to bring us back to that segmentation stuff that we're talking about today, is to segment them by the traffic source. So if you know that if you did a piece of content marketing on somebody else's blog, or if you did a takeover of their Instagram or something like that, make sure that offer that you bring them in through, you have different opt-in pages for that same offer. So if you've got your 500 subject lines and I go over to my friend Natalie over at Boss Babe, she's got like 1.7 million followers on Instagram, I'll create another version of that opt-in page for my 500 subject lines. And I'll tag those people, say, when they come into my email list, saying they came from Boss Babe. And what I'll know about those people is certain things about the demographics of Natalie's audience, so I can make judgments based on that. So make sure on the simplest thing of spending no extra money other than you're already spending is to be tagging people, segmenting them in some way based on what you know, based on where they came from. And then the one landing page fits all isn't the case at all. That's what I would say.
That also then helps you to scale the things that are working the best.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's really great advice. And I think lots of solopreneurs are not doing that. They kind of set it up once. That's my freebie. That's how I can provide values. That's how people can get to know me. And then that sits there forever.
It does. And what's really interesting is it helps you make it easier for those audiences to find the stuff. So let's go along with the Natalie example, all right? So let's say I'm on her Instagram and I'm doing a takeover of her Instagram. If I say to them at the end of the little video, hey, go and check out go to responsesuite.com/500 subject lines, people might remember that. What they're more likely to remember, though, is if I say go to responsesuite.com/bossbabe, they're going to, one, remember it more, two, feel like it's just for them, and thirdly, Natalie's going to be immensely flattered by the fact we even set up that thing. So she's going to share it more as well. So, and the reason we did that fundamentally is because that page is unique to that offer, so we can do that segmentation and be aware of where those people came from.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we also want to give my audience the opportunity to check you guys out. And exactly. So what's the link for that?
All right. Well, you can, if you want to learn about email marketing and wherever you are in your journey, we talk about basic stuff all the way to really advanced stuff. You can check out our podcast on all your favorite podcast players. It's called The Email Marketing Show. And it's Rob and I talking about email marketing along with some guests sometimes as well. So that's our new show. We're loving it.
Yes, indeed. And if you'd like to check out Response Suite and even try it for yourself, we actually have a really special thing for listeners to the podcast. What you can do is you can get 14 days to try it out for yourself for just $1. Try it out, get in there, make some surveys, get some results. You can do all of that stuff, but don't just go to responsesuite.com and do it. Instead, you want to go to the link I'm going to give you in just a second. And if you do that, you'll also get a 4-part video training series that we put together a while ago called the Survey Marketing Masterclass. It was like $500 when we sold it. You can't buy it at any price now.
I think it's not on sale.
But we'll give you that. And also you get an implementation call with one of us, either Rob or either Kennedy or myself. I'm Rob. Either Kennedy or myself.
Your own name.
That's never happened before.
So
either
good.
Kennedy or myself will jump on call Rob or myself. I, myself, and him will jump on a call and we'll help you to implement it for yourself. But don't just go to responsesuite.com because you won't get the bonus stuff. Instead, you want to, how do I get through life? You want to go to responsesuitedeal.com/heart sells. That's responsesuitedeal.com/heart sells. And that's where you'll be able to get all of that stuff.
Yeah, awesome. And obviously I'm going to put the link into the show notes as well, so people can really check out this resource. I think it will make a tremendous difference in people's lives, how they segment and then how they can serve more people with their amazing gifts, and how they know which person needs which segment to start with, so they can make a bigger impact.
Yeah, and what's really lovely about this whole thing is while it sounds like it's doing some complex stuff, we've built the software purposely to make it really simple to do. So you can do quite advanced, clever stuff without knowing much about technology whatsoever. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to our next interview to talk about the engagement piece, which is really important. I mean, if you want to make a difference, people need to engage with your content, with what you have to offer. So I'm really excited about that. Thank you so much for being here. And looking forward to our next interview. Well, what an episode. I took quite some notes, and I know that I have to improve in how I reach my tribe. And if that's you too, I hope you also took quite some notes and you are making your tweaks that you can reach your tribe in a better way, in a more supporting way, delivering what they need at that moment, and then you will get better results as well. And it makes sales so much easier. Hop on over to christineschlonski.com, find the podcast tab, and get the show notes, the transcript, all the resources we talked about. They are there for you, as well as all the links to Rob and Kennedy, just one click away. And while you're over there, I invite you to sign up for my empowerment notes. These are weekly notes right into your inbox, as well as special announcements on special things that are going on in the hard sales world. And thank you so much for tuning in. If you have not subscribed yet, make sure you do. I'd love for you to leave a rating and review as well. And tune in for the next episode where we talk about having better engagements with your clients and more fun in the process while not feeling sleazy or pushy when you sell. Have a wonderful day wherever you are in this beautiful world, and I'm saying bye for now.